probably now is if you write a function that returns as if value is divisible by 2 and no if not. So let's create a function. So it's good to name your variables like this so people can understand. Anyone that picks up your code can understand. So at this point, you know that I'm trying to make a function divisible by 2. So take an argument. That argument is what to pass to it. So it's going to be a number. And then we come here, and over here we do a statement. This one use an if else. So what are we going to do now? We'll do this. We say if, first of all, how do we even know how to know a number is divisible? In JavaScript and programming languages, we have an operator called the modulus operator. It's percentage normally. You expect it's percentage in normal convention, but in programming is modulus. It's the modulus operator, and it returns a remainder. It returns a remainder. So if I divide something that not divisible by 2, not divisible by 2 with the modulus operator by any number, if it's not divisible, it will return a remainder. Let's just do a demonstration. I come here and I do 9 modulus 2. What's the remainder of 9 modulus 2? You did maths. You should know. Sorry. Yeah. And this is getting in our way. Let me just forget that it's getting in our way. It needs, that's like a syntax error. Yeah, so let me do this. So 9 divided by 2 is modulus 2 is 1. Because if you divide 9 into 4 places, it will give you 8. Then there's a remainder 1. That's the way you do remainder in school. 9 remainder this. If I do 9, if I do 13, let me use 13 so you understand. You might understand better what I'm doing, why it works that way. I do 13 modulus 5. What do you expect to happen? 3, remainder 3. That's a remainder before it can get into a value that 5 can understand. So with this now, we can use that to leverage something. So to check a number is divisible by 2, we can do if number is divisible by 2, if number divisible by 2 is equals to 0. This is an equality sign in JavaScript. These are the operator. I don't know if it has been introduced to you, but I want to introduce it now. In JavaScript, if you want to compare 2 values, you can use this or this. The difference, however, is if I do something like this, console log 1 is equals to 1. What do you think is going to happen? Let's watch and see. Is 1 equals to 1? It's true. Wow, that's weird. One number should not be equals to 1 string. But remember what I told you. See what JavaScript is going to do. If I come here, I do like this. Let me do this for you. And let's see what happens. If I do this, boolean 1, what is it going to return? If I do this, sorry, not boolean. If I do this number 1, you can do this to convert a string to a number. You use this number 1. What's going to return? Returns 1. That's 1 a number. That is 1 a number. To even prove that is 1 a number, we have an operator, another operator we can use in JavaScript, which is called the type of operator. I would like the way we're moving from, we just have use cases, we introduce new concepts, that way it sticks faster. So when I do this, the type of, if I do this, sorry, the type of, if I come and do this, console.log type of, I run type of 1. What do you think is going to give me? Type of 1 is equals to a string. 1 is a string, right? If I come now and I do type of this, what is it going to give me? It's a number. JavaScript has converted it from a string to the number 1. So when you come, this is a way to determine the types of values. So if I come and do type of true, what do you think is going to be? It's a boolean. That's the primitive type boolean. So that's it. You can play around with that later in your own time. So when it comes here and I do this, when it comes here now, JavaScript does this internally for us. So when we use a lose operator, which is the 2 equal sign, JavaScript to both of them. Are they of the same type? No. It will try to convert each of them. To try to convert this one here to a number, right? So once it does that by itself. It has conditions. Are you comparing a number and a string is a number and a string? Convert the number. Are you comparing a string and a string? It's an internal implementation. You don't need to get a bit of that. But it's going to come here, convert this to the number 1. Then it's going to compare it, and that's going to give the true. But what if we use the 3 equal sign? What's going to happen? JavaScript will say, I'm not converting it. I'll look at it. Is 1 and 1, are they both numbers? No. It's 4. They're not the same type. 4. So that's it. So to make your programs more predictable, I always advise use this to make it, to know that JavaScript doesn't convert it for you internally. But if you want that conversion to happen, internally, you could just use 2 signs and then it's going to happen. But you have to be aware that it might introduce bugs that you can't even debug. So just use the true sign and then. So what could happen is that I could just come here. If I want to predict how it works and have any other developer know how it works, I'll just come and wrap it by number like this, and then I'll just run it. I do this way, it's going to return true, but I converted it to a number. Sorry. I forgot the brackets here. It returns true. I converted it myself. So a developer can come and see it's comparing 1 and number 1, but it's converting it to a number first. So a use case of this is maybe someone submits a form. In that form, they submit age. That form has an age field. In that form, they submit age. But in HTML, CSS, if you specify an input type as text, it's going to return it as a string, even if you put in a number. So if you put in 1 in a form, it will come as like this 1. But you might want to use the number 1 here, this 1 as a number, not as a string. So you convert it to number and then compare it. So you're sure that this is naturally inputted 1 and not another number. So that's a use case, a practical use case of converting this to a number. Then coming back to this, so we do modulus this divide by 2. If what you pass divide by 2 is equal to 0, then this will return true because 0 is equal to 0, right? Yeah, right. If I come and do this, 0 is equals to 0. What is it going to return? It's going to be true. 0 is equals to 0. So we leverage on that. If the number divided by 2 is equals to 0, then we can return true that the number is, of course, is divisible by 2. Or we can do else we return false. So once you come here now, I'm going to quickly remove this. So I come here and I do console.log is divisible by 2, and I pass it 4. What is it supposed to return? That's true. It's true. Let's pass it. If we pass it, then we have a bug. Our operation don't work. It's false. It's not divisible by 2. We can pass it any number that ends with 2. In fact, I'm going to pass it any number. I'm just going to type random numbers. Sorry. I don't do rush passing. I'm rushing it. And I do this, and I end it with 2. And I do this. It knows the engine is that fast. It knows it's divisible by 2. If it ends with 2, 4, 8, any of those, even 0, if I do that and I run it, it's divisible by 2, right? But we might want to make this function more dynamic. We just want to use it all over our app. Our app determines the divisible numbers. We want to give it to users to be able to input a number, then input the divisible factor. So we can do is divisible by number. Then when we come, we will pass in a number, and then we'll pass in the let's say divisible number. So when I come here and I do this. This is a dynamic program. When I do this now, okay, what do you think is going to happen? if I don't pass an argument, a second argument to this function. Let me keep it to 4. What's going to happen? What should we return? Not defined. Okay, sorry. I changed the function with the reference error. If I do this, what should we return? That's weird, right? Okay. Let me go and do something now. Console.log. Console.log. Let's do 4. 4 modulo 0. What should it give us? We went to school. You should understand when we do this. Not a number. We have an operator in JavaScript called not a number. You can use it to do operations internally, but then it's just not a number. It doesn't really have any real value. It's not a number. So if we try to divide anything that's not a number, the operation is not a valid operation. That's why it's giving you not a number. If I use 1 like this, it will return, of course. I use 1. There's no remainder for 1. If I do something like this, what should we return? 0, right? Zero. JavaScript converts this for us. It does correction for us, but this is not a valid operation. 4. What? I'm trying to give you instances when none can happen. JavaScript converted the left and converted the right for us to make that happen. So let's do divided by a and see what happens. It gives you not a number. So 4 divided by a will give you none. It's not a meaningful operation. It gives you none. That's why it gives you that. It's not meaningful. You can't do number operations on it. So 4 divided by 0 is not a meaningful operation in mathematics. Yeah. So when I run that, to give me none. But the answer here is none. So is none equal to 0? No, it isn't. But let's use 2 equal signs and see what happens. It's still none, yeah? Because no number is equals to none. That's a fact. Come and I do hello. Is hello equals to none? I will use 2 equal sign. No, the answer is false. The first one is false. No number is equal to none. That's the JavaScript. Get someone ask you anywhere. Is none equals to any number equals to none? Is anything equals to none? If you use an object, it's not equals to none. It isn't. Even if it's 2 equal sign. Let's do none. Is none equals to none? Or more? Okay. What now equals to none? Sorry. So none is not equals to anything. None is not equals to itself. If you want to determine that an operation returns none, you have to use this new method I'm going to introduce. Number is not a none. Then you wrap it with none. I think it should be is none. Yeah. Yeah, that's the method. Number is none. So you're checking, is it none? Is none? Yeah, for real, it's true. It returns true. If I come and do, is this none? It will return false. So that's the only way to check for none. So have that at the back of your mind. That's something you always come by later, but then I just have to show you that. So it tells you. But what happens here though is that once you do this, it divides this by undefined. So when you don't pass an argument here, if I do console.log this, the JavaScript immediately makes it undefined on runtime. So when I come here and I run this, sorry, let me remove this so we can. Okay, let me have that. So if you run this, the first console log is the first one. So it returns undefined. So when it does number divided by undefined, it gives you none. So let's demonstrate that. Let's do 4 is divided by undefined. What is it supposed to give you? gives you none. Yeah, so right. That's what happened internally. And it didn't pass. It didn't pass. That was a bug. You know, that's a bug. But what we could have done anyway was when you do this, we just a little conditional check. This part of thinking as a programmer. You say, if not num, if you don't pass the number, or not, that's any number that is false and you use not for to give you true, or not this. We do this and we pass this here. Just return a gentle message. Return, please pass all arguments. So when I run this now, what does return value? Please pass all arguments. So this is what happens. This could be extended to real life cases like validation. Someone comes now to you're a front-end developer, a back-end developer, anything you're a developer, you're building a tool. Then you expect people to pass in an argument. You want someone to submit their name on their form. You try submitting, you go to Zuru, you try submitting some required, don't submit it. To give you a simple message, to just give you, please pass all argument. You know what? Let's just take it out of the context of this and let's make it show in our browser. We can use alerts, defensive alerts, right? We don't even need to return an alert. It's just going to fire. So when I do this, okay, why Node.js? Node.js, you cannot use something like alerts in Node.js. So Node.js guys, we'll meet and we'll discuss why we can't use that later. I don't want to explain that in this class. This class is for JavaScript people. So once you do that, it returns pass all arguments. But if I come and then I give you 4, and then I give you 2, what's going to happen? It returns true. So it passes this. So neither of this is false. So this is defined, this is not defined. But what if I pass in 0? Pass all arguments and make sure they are greater than 0. They are of type number and greater than 0. So when I do this now, the message is not descriptive now. You need to pass the arguments. And you need to know that they are of type number and they are greater than 0. Yeah. So we have that out the way. But then let's use our program. So we can do this. So it gives you true. We can come here and we do this gives you false. Yeah. Right. So we have it's supposed to give you false. It gives you false. So we have that out the way. So that's a fun operation. Yeah. So we have a case for if-else statement now. And then I wanted to talk about statements, but I'm thinking now that I should leave that to your tutor to talk about, so we don't take all the time. I need to move to something else. But this is a use case for an if-else statement. And I'm going to link a resource. If you want more information on it, then by all means go ahead, read on it. That's what makes you an outstanding developer, personal research. You're waiting to be taught. You will not know a lot. So I'm going to move on from if-else, from switch statements. I'm going to dive into inheritance and classes. Okay, so let's see something. In JavaScript, we have something called classes, and we have what we call prototypical inheritance. I want to make this little brief. If you need more understanding, you have to do it, or you could just follow at me, and then we'll talk about it anytime. So I'm going to declare a function. I'm going to call that function. Intern. This function is an intern, and this. I'm going to come here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do. I'll give it age. When I come here, I'm going to do this dot a is equals to age. Oh, what this doesn't much. But out the way. And then I'll come here and I'll just do let me do Miwa. Miwa is a new intern. It's an intern. I'm going to pass Miwa is 25 years old. So when I come here and I do console.log Tomiwa. What should we see? Oh, we see intern, an intern, someone of an intern class with the age 25. Tomiwa.age. What should I see? Tomiwa's age is 25. That's interesting. We declare this. This is a function. Why are we using function this way? A lot of questions on your mind. So the convention is when you use functions like this, you use the this keyword as it is. You are creating, this is a function constructor. Let me do this. This is a function constructor, right? So to make this inherit this, to make I'm gonna have to get my IDE. Sorry guys, let me just do that for a while. Please. Well, we'll see how some of our changes saved. I think the network went a little bad at that moment, so waiting for now. So I'm just going to keep talking. So the concept of inheritance and classes is, let's say you have a car. For that car, you want to have a car model. What should all cars do? All cars should be able to drive, right? I just leave that. So we have an intern. A Zuri intern should have an edge on their dashboard. So they have an edge. So we created another intern, Tomiwa. We know Tomiwa's edge. I could come here and then, I want to create, I don't know. I know David now. David is of 30 years old. And I want to know David's edge. What is David's edge now? When I do this, David's edge is what do you think David's edge is going to be? David is going to be 30. David is 30, right? Then, so once you use this syntax now, you declare a function constructor. But then when you use the new word, you make this to refer to this, like to refer to this newly created object. So this dot edge now will create like an object internally. So you see when we did console.david here, it shows you an object called intern, which is now, and this object now, the original object now has this edge created for it. So it creates, and then to create something like this, it creates edge to 30. So it does edge equals to whatever you pass into it. That's what it does. So that's what it creates behind the scenes for you. So that's what this syntax does. That's why you use this. If you don't do anything like this and you just passing this and you run, it just gives you an empty object. It doesn't create that for you. So that this now is a way to create this object to make sure that when you pass in an argument, the JavaScript engine will take it up, then create an object for you. That's a function. That's what the function constructor does. It's a simple. Okay, someone says I have to slow down. I'm slowing down. Sorry about that. Then so we have that out the way, yeah. So what if I don't pass the word new? What does the word do? What if I don't pass the word new? It's undefined, right? David is undefined. David wasn't created. You didn't use the word new. So once you have a value like this, okay, no, let's do this. Let's see what happens when I do this. David is not a function. David isn't a function. Now, once you don't do that, this acts like a regular function, and then this is not return anything. But let's do this. Let's return age and see what happens. So David now returns age. So you've made this a normal function now. You just return value and that's it. But now we want this to act like a constructor functions. We want to create one function and have everybody copy from it. We want to have an intent function, intent for constructor function, and then we have more intents being created from that. So we now add the word new. The new word will help us do that in accordance with this syntax. That helps us do that. So once we do this, and now it gives us our other class, which all of intern class. Yeah. So what if I want all interns should be able to speak on Slack, to be able to speak? Their human beings able to speak, and I want each of them to have a speak method, right? If I come and I do this, I come and do this. Intern dot prototype dot speak is equals to function. It will take in the word, and then it will console of this speak. Okay, to return a word. It speaks. So, let's make some David. Let's make some by our. Sorry, I can't pronounce the word right. Don't be angry with me. So if I come here and I do David dot speak and I give you the word, what should return? Returns hi. David can speak. How? Why can David speak? David, I just created David. Does David have a speak method on it? Okay, sorry. Let me come and do Tomiwa. Tomiwa should say, hi, I'm Tomiwa. Oh, Tomiwa can speak. David can say, Tomiwa can say, hi, I'm Tomiwa. And then I'll now come and do console. I'll do David dot speak. I'll do hi Tomiwa. I am David. So it says hi Tomiwa, hi I'm Tomiwa. Then it replies to Tomiwa, hi Tomiwa, I am David. Think of a use case. You could create like a system where you can both interact. We're both interns. Tomiwa speaks to David, David speaks to Tomiwa. Like this is just I'm just trying to give you like a practical example of of how this we could have this happen, and then to make me. But involved to create to run those things that once you create the function control, you can create a chatting app. There's more involved, but this is it anyway. This happen now, yeah. And then, but the amazing thing is, everybody, each of them can speak. But if I come and do this, let's come and do this. If I come and do Tomiwa dance, someone can dance. He's a grooving guy. The guy they dance, yeah. I do Tomiwa dance is equals to function, and then I'll return dancing now. Dancing now as let's play around a little. Let's get the list and see what will happen. I'll do dancing as, and I do. If you want me to say anything, just tag on Slack. I'll get notification then. I'll just adjust to that. Dancing as this dot h. Dancing as a this dot h old. This dot 8 years old. 20-year-old, yeah. So if I come do, let's remove these guys for now. And I do tell me what they do, what dot dance. What's going to happen? Wow. So tell me why 25 and it's dancing as a 25-year-old. So you can look at the this keyword. This now still remembered that age is 25. We passed in 25 here. This dot age captured it as 25. So when we use it in the methods that this class can still remember that this 25 was passed into it. It's part of the JavaScript answers and all that. So, but there's so many backgrounds to how this behaves, but I'm not going to go into that now. That's something that you after learning can talk about it. Then that happened. So what if I come now and I say David should dance? Will David dance? David doesn't have the dancing capability. Tell me what can not dance? Well, how did that happen? Like, why is it possible to add it points? Everybody could speak, but I came and added tell me what dance, and for he could not dance. You might say, added it to tell me why, yeah. Okay, let's add it to intern and see. Let's add it to intern. See if everyone will still be able to dance. See, these are practical use cases, so understanding stuff. So let's add it to intern and see. But added to intern is their papa or their mama, their parents. They don't have that. So everyone now will be wondering, there's one feature that's making this thing seem possible. What is that word? What is that? What is that keyword making this possible? This out. So when I come here and I do what the prototype, the dance, I do dance. Will David? Oh, wow. So we can't do the prototype or dance because Tommy One now doesn't have his internal prototype, right? So if you see the error message, let me copy the error message out of there and call. It will say cannot set property dance of undefined. Wow, what's undefined? Prototype is undefined. Object. But intern is a function. Functions have prototypes. Just the function have prototypes. Right. Okay. So if I come now and I do, I want everyone to dance. I want everyone to dance. And I do prototype. What's going to happen? It should be an error. It's still because of this line we left here, right? If I do this now and then I run, then what's going to happen? My man David is dancing. So we did inheritance. We made sure everybody that's created from this function, every object, these are objects. These objects don't have the prototype here. They don't have this word attached to them, this keyword attached to them. They do not. But every object created from this. So once you do this new you create an object, like as you demonstrated. Once you console log David, it turns an object, not a function. Should we? That's an object. Click on log intent to see what intent returns. Intent is a function. Tell me what. But we use a constructor now to create an object. That's the JavaScript thing. So if you want everyone to inherit this method, you need to cheat to the prototype of the main function constructor. But if I just want Tomiwa to have an ability, Tomiwa is the only guy that can promote. Tomiwa is a mentor, or Tomiwa is a special intern. He's a team lead, and Tomiwa can use a channel. They use at channel. Use channel word. So you can use the channel word. If I come here and I do return a channel, I am the team lead. So if I come and do Tomiwa dot use channel, I call that. Tomiwa can do a channel.